All right, I'm Molly Hazel. I teach art at East Hardin. I'm going to show you something called the gridding method today. This is a fabulous method to teach you how to draw large. Okay, people use this for large-scale murals. Professionals use this technique. It's a great way to draw something in proportion and on scale without having to just freehand it. Now, some of you can say, oh, I can look at that and I can draw it any size. But a lot of people do not have that ability. So I'm going to teach you a way to blow this up. Not go boom, but make it bigger. So if you count these squares, these were just gridded 1-inch squares. So all I did is I took a ruler, one preferably with numbers. I'm going to take an inch ruler and mark. And if you noticed, every inch, they just made a mark. Now you don't want to deal with fractions. So if you do come to a little off, just make sure, you mark it to where you could fold it over, but you do not want to deal with fractions. So if you count these squares, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you count these, it's 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's a 3 by 6. If I want to double this grid times 2, then I would just times both of those numbers by 2, and I would get a 6 by 12. So my new grid on my big paper would be 6 by 12. So I would take 12 at the top and 6 down. 12 at the top and 6 down. Now, since I doubled it and I had 1-inch squares, if I times it by 2, the 1 becomes a 2. So now you're going to have 2-inch squares because your picture's twice as big. So every 2 inches, make a mark. And do this all the way around the grid, because if you don't, sometimes it does not line up. 2, 4, and 6. Now just match up your lines. Now, the cool thing when you get this done, it's just a bigger grid. It's the same grid. So you still have a 1, 2, 3 squares by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. They're just double the size. So now you look at this picture, and we're going to read like we're reading a book. Left to right, top to bottom. You're going to start in that left corner. The reason why I say that is because if you keep working in here, and then you jump to over here, when you do your whole picture, your lines don't line up. So let's think about building a puzzle. You build it one piece at a time. This is how we're going to do this drawing. So don't do anything in the first square. And now pay attention to where the building goes in that square. And I'm just going to draw what I see. And I want my building to pretty much look like it does in the picture. Now, some of this stuff is subject to what you think it looks like. Everybody's picture might not all look the same, and that's okay. So I'm just going to quickly draw what I see. And then that's all I see in that first picture. So when you go to the next one, your roof will continue, and eventually you will get that whole roof design. And then when it continues, you'll have a complete roof. And that's how you do the gridding method.